right, it's a couple of minutes before 11:30 in the morning on Wednesday, the 23rd of February. I was just going to throw some stuff out there and see if anybody else can relate to this. I use my telephone to text pretty much as a default way of communication because most people don't know that you can actually do a give and take conversation on phones anymore. They go for the fast food type of talking instead. Punch, 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 emoticons, send, goodbye. So, as far as the other feature that I think was one of the best, because you could hear intonation and inflection and different things like that in people's voice, you get an idea of what they're talking about, and if you're wondering, you can just ask them. That was the great thing about it. But I digress, don't I? Anyway, so I guess what I wanted to say was that, have you noticed in texting, like maybe in other mediums, that automatically correct what you're saying or maybe completely delete your comment or ban it in the shadows, if you know what I mean, so that you can't tell that you're the only one that can see your comment. So I'm not sure that that's not going on with their telephones. I would like to point out that I don't necessarily believe in this concept of artificial intelligence as being, you put a whole bunch of webbing together and at some point it gets so intricate and whatever that no one can explain why, but suddenly it just gains this awareness that it is. Okay. I don't buy that. I think that the system that's being built right now and connected to everything, including people, has the capability of being used by an entity in a system just like that. I think, actually, the entity is already at work. What people are calling the AI isn't the AI. I think that there is definitely an awareness. It's not artificial, but it's using an artificial network. Now let me get on to why I kind of think that, and see if anybody else kind of goes along with this. When I text, I typically will voice, speech to text, just talk into it. Or I'll just tap each key, right? Or sometimes you can use your thumbs if you want to. Or you can use the program called Swipe, where you just, you know what I mean? So there's three different ways. What I've noticed is that it doesn't even matter which one that I use. They're getting consistently worse. I think it's interesting that we're being told now by Grammarly that, maybe a sentence rewrite or even a whole paragraph rewrite of what you were trying to say might be in order. So who's training who to write? Well, of course, they're training you to write in the way that they want you to. Just like if you don't speak with the proper intonation in your voice or the words that the phone thinks you should say, you're not enunciating enough, and the phone will teach you to enunciate. But it can't teach me to do that because I refuse. The phone needs to either adapt or whatever, but I've been noticing that it's getting worse and worse. It's getting worse and worse. And not only is it getting worse or worse, but I've noticed it's not just gibberish anymore. It doesn't just throw up fake words that don't make sense. Like, where did this word even come from? What is this word? Why would you put that in this sentence, kind of thing? And rather than just saying, selecting maybe instead just the word for, F-O-R, how about that? But no, it wouldn't suggest that. Instead, it would suggest something that I have no idea if it was even a word. But it was like, how is this appropriate? And it happened more and more, and as I've noticed it, it's been happening more and more. It's also, I've noticed that it seems to be not only will it flip something after I've corrected it, even right before I send it, sometimes I'll press send and then I'll see the word switch right in front of me. It's like, whoa, I saw that. I caught it before it even happened, before it even sent. It switched. And it's like, wow, okay, now I've seen words switch in front of me, and other times I haven't. I just send the thing and realize that I did an edit, but it edited something else when I did that edit. Other times I'm editing almost all of the time because it never knows what I'm saying. And it never gets it close to right. But what I've noticed lately is it's been doing almost the opposite. And anytime I speak of Jesus or God, whatever the context is, it turns it around. It'll give me some scrambled words, but it always has something that seems like it's directly in contrast to that. And I'm beginning to think that this is not any kind of a coincidence at all. I think that the AI is not artificial, that there's an intelligence roaming around within it. It's an intelligence, all right. So, just wondering if you guys feel the same way, if you've noticed that, I mean, seriously, you look at the words, like, I would never even write that. Why would I write that? And, or other things that are like completely different than what you said. I mean, absolutely the opposite of what you said, and even kind of insulting. It's just like, it goes far beyond coincidence to me. Far beyond. I don't believe in coincidence anyway. I've seen it too many times to know that it's not happening, I guess. Just wondering how many people, other people are seeing this or experiencing things like this. I did notice a little while ago someone said something about an article being printed someplace about that, um, about a list of things this person's phone had said, but I don't know. Anyway, you guys, if you've experienced it, let me know. I think it's interesting.